Yeah, there isn't,
Lodging, meals, and transportation.
because they're taking them up there, or they use company truck to run up there.
And the tools.
Yeah.
Okay, then that's.
Okay. I have 10:15 in Europe.
All right, thank you. My name is Dr. Justin Spees.
Could you come up here? I can't hear. We've got all these pipes.
I've got hearing aids, and it's
Yeah.
hard for me to hear you back there.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so anyways, like I was saying, my name is Dr. Justin Spees. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Justin.
Dr. Justin Spees. And so I came here because I seen what appeared to be some First and 14th Amendment right violations that have happened in some of your recent meetings. And as someone that's had that happen to him, I felt a sense of duty to come and ask you some questions about your meetings. So the first question I have for you guys is what rules apply to me speaking right now?
You got on the agenda.
Yeah, how much time do I have?
You have 3 minutes.
3 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But I reserve the right as chair nominated, if the conversation can extend, I'd be glad to extend it.
All right.
I have
Appreciate
the
it.
ability to do that.
Appreciate it. All right, so second question is, a couple meetings ago, there was a guy named Tom. He came in here and he was speaking. You guys stopped him from speaking. You said that it was because his attorney had sent a cease and desist letter to you guys.
Okay.
I just
I'm not from your home.
I just
Jeff Energy stuff.
No, enough. You have an attorney, you'll need to go through your attorney to our attorney
To do what?
to communicate with this board.
Okay.
You sent the letter to us, you
Yeah.
started that process.
Okay.
So that's the process that you want to communicate with us. Until our attorney is told otherwise, you don't get to communicate with us one-on-one. Go through your attorney.
You got it.
All right?
And I was just wondering what authority you guys have to do that. What part of the Constitution allows you guys to make it so that individual isn't allowed to come in with his free speech and also to redress government? What part of the Constitution there?
I'll be clear about this. Mr. Hoffman, he characterized that as a cease and desist letter. There was an attorney that sent a letter on his behalf. It was advised at the time that occurred that conversation was going to be limited because of the sensitive nature of the possible litigation that could result from these communications. Now, we have obviously disagreement with this gentleman about a great number of things, but that's not relevant. He has indicated to the county that he has engaged counsel, and he has indicated his intent to proceed with that, but nothing has been done. There is a requirement, as I've said before, that counsel communicate with the counsel, not directly with an individual who's represented by counsel, which impairs our ability to communicate fully with him, because I can't advise these guys and interface with him. First Amendment rights, as I've said before, this is a public meeting. It is not a public hearing. Nothing in the Kansas Open Meetings Act requires that individuals be heard.
Right, but you're opening it up for him to be heard, and then you said he couldn't talk, and you're saying
No,
that
again,
whatever agreement that is supersedes his right to free speech. Hold on a second.
We did not open up to public. We had.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. You opened it up for him to speak, and then you restricted his speech. And that's not the only example. The second example is Michael here. Last meeting was speaking. You did the same thing to him. You stopped him from speaking. So you opened it up, and then you restricted his speech. And I'm just wondering, is that viewpoint discrimination?
No.
How so?
This is not a public hearing.
Right, but you've allowed them to speak. And matter of fact, after Tom spoke, you opened it up for everyone. You said any other comments, and a lady tried to speak and advocate for him. You shut her down, and then again you asked.
We did not.
Yes, you did. Oh, you did, though. It's on video. It's recorded. You said any other comments, and so that lady was speaking, and you guys shut her down.
On the agenda to speak on that topic.
She wasn't on the agenda.
She was.
She just started
She
speaking.
was on the agenda.
And she got moved up. So there was no like, okay, you're next, lady. She just started speaking and you shut her down. And then you asked if there was other comments in the room.
Right? Yes, Pam.
Mr. Hoffman is a member of the public, is he not? Is
He
he not able to
he
speak
chose
in
his
the
direct.
public?
I'll let our attorney explain this.
Does he, I mean, he relinquishes those rights to speak at a public meeting?
No, he doesn't relinquish any rights, he hasn't relinquished any rights. He has chosen himself to seek this method of communication because he has I think, more than a political issue. So I'm not gonna go into detail about it. I think we both are trying to respect at least, the legal side of this. Again, with hope that that will continue.
Anything else?
Can he be put on the agenda to speak?
No.
No.
His lawyer can step in front of us and communicate if that's the way you say
He
it.
talked, his lawyer,
Taxes in the county, he
his,
can't be put on the
his lawyer
agenda.
can talk to me too about, he chose changing that setup. If he wants to become a public commenter, then we'll address the way that it's done.
Yeah.
And I'm all for it.
I am too. But again, understand, he made that decision, not us.
So if you go, you hire a lawyer to represent you, you can no longer speak at a public meeting, even though you're a taxpayer.
We're not going I'm just going to call it, I mean, again, this is regarding things that were not part of this process.
Right.
And there can be an accord where this is, where he can have that freedom. But
Yeah.
there has to be an understanding that is not our understanding right now.
That's correct. All right, anybody, any other comments from anybody else? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, we're not going to sit here and litigate over what happened in the meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
So what about with
your-
Michael?
Your questions have been answered.
No.
generally about-
What about with Michael? He was in here speaking. You did the same thing to him. You said he couldn't speak anymore.
I think they're done. You have the floor.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, my name is Michael. I'm with Lawrence Accountability. I travel up from Douglas County. A little bit, I'm sorry, I have some hearing aids. So my name is Michael. I'm with Lawrence Accountability. I drove up from Lawrence this morning. The reason I drove up is I wanted to address something that happened in this room last week. Recording has gotten out onto the internet. I'd appreciate it if your attorney would pay attention for a moment here because this does involve him. Last week it came to our attention that a man named Hoffman, Mr. Hoffman, was in this room attempting to speak during a comment period. And during that period,
It wasn't a comment.
okay, I'd like to finish.
State it correctly if you're going to state something, or leave it general, because I'm not going to allow you to misrepresent what happened when I was present in these gentlemen. Okay? Go ahead. The people had asked, that were commenting, that asked to be on the agenda.
There were 3 individuals that were on the agenda, but go ahead. Okay. In any case, you opened a public comment period where people were.
It was a public comment.
Okay. You're a frustrating individual, I'll just say that right now.
Well,
Okay.
yeah,
No.
this is a way of.
How about you let me talk and just be quiet for a minute? Okay, in any
Will
case,
people
what
like
happened?
in here, or I'll have to
Okay, you
remove,
said to me a moment ago that I had the floor,
You
this
do.
man's been continually
You do.
interrupting me.
but be polite.
You need to
Okay,
say
I
things
want to ask
correctly,
you,
sir.
I want to ask him to not interrupt me any further.
And I will ask you to please state things correctly if you're going to state things.
Okay, you had an individual in here that was attempting to give a public comment. I don't care about the period that you had open, I don't care about what was going on. Okay? But in any case, you, sir, Keith, and you, the attorney, Mr., what's your name again? Luckman, decided that since he had mailed some legal paperwork to you, that he no longer had the right to speak in this room. That was what was heard on the audio. So regardless of what kind of public period you had open, the argument that you made at that point in time was that he had to converse with you through his attorney. I'm here to tell you today that that is improper. Your attorney is wrong by saying that. You guys are wrong by saying that. An individual can sue this county, can hire an attorney and sue the pants out of this county, and he can still come in and make public comments. He still has that right. Whether he did not get on the agenda or whatever, that wasn't the argument that you made. The argument that both of you made last week was that because he had hired an attorney and had started processes somehow, I'm not even aware of what the processes are completely. All I know is that you guys said because he hired an attorney that he had to talk to you guys through his attorney, talk to his elected representatives through his attorney. That is improper. That's all.
Whose opinion, sir?
In the opinion of the United States Constitution.
Yeah.
In the opinion of the United States Constitution. You can't tell a man that he can't come in and speak during public. So if he comes in and signs up on that list, is he going to be allowed to speak, or does he have to speak to you through his attorney?
I'll take it because you're laboring under.
And answer that if you would, please.
Gladly, for you and the folks who will be viewing this to understand that the Kansas Open Meetings Act only requires that the meeting be open. It doesn't allow the public to comment. This body can, if it desires, allow public comment extensively, disallow it, or whatever in between. There are time, place, and manner restrictions on any speech. And the gentleman who was wanting to speak didn't lose any rights because he didn't have the right to talk in this meeting. He has the right to go out there on the steps. He has the right to call his own meeting, have his own speech.
Did you not have other individuals speaking?
Are you interrupting me?
Allow him to finish.
Okay,
his
see,
comment.
we allowed them because they asked to be on the agenda, and they did not have any type of extracurricular legal implications to what they were saying, because they hadn't engaged in the same things that Mr. Hoffman did. And Mr. Hoffman himself said, I believe in a post, that it was a cease and desist letter. Whether or not that's the case, we're not going to go into the details of what is discussed between attorneys or the correspondence. We consider the matter resolved in the sense that there was an open records matter that was addressed by the AG, and we have results from that.
Okay.
Now, if Mr. Hoffman believes there's something extra that needs to be addressed, that's fine. But let's go back to the main point of the meeting, is that there's no constitutional right under the First Amendment to speak at an open meeting.
May
That
I
is,
retort?
huh?
May I retort?
No, you may not report.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying that as an absolute because that is, the statute does not say you have a right to speak at an open meeting. There are rights, the time, place, and manner restrictions. Like I said, this is constitutional law 101 in law schools all around about the First Amendment, that you can't just speak anywhere you want to, that this body, and we're conducting a
Is the attorney not
business.
aware that if you open a comment period, you can't allow one and not the other? You can't
They
be
want
specific.
And I've already told you.
I'm getting a lecture now, sir. I'm not interested in a lecture. Okay,
Well,
I'm not interested in a lecture from the attorney.
and
I asked a
these guys
straightforward
are
question.
asking a
If
lecture from you.
Mr. Hoffman comes in here and asks to be put on the agenda, will he be allowed to speak, or is he gonna be required to communicate with this board through his attorney? Question, easy answer.
The easy answer is that if there is an issue that the public comment is becoming disruptive or problematic or causes difficulty for this body to do the work that it's supposed to be doing.
My
Instead of
question was
listening
not
to-
about disruptions. My question was, if Mr. Hoffman comes in and puts his name on that agenda to be able to speak to this board, is he going to be allowed to address his elected representatives, or are you going to try to force him to go through his attorney?
I'm saying that anybody who comes before this body and presents themselves for the agenda can be denied a spot on the
Sir,
agenda.
I'm asking you.
I'm not- and that's not-
I'm
that's
not,
my
no,
answer.
I'm asking you.
That's
You're
the
so-
answer.
So you're saying that he can maybe be allowed, maybe not be allowed? They have the discretion to
Well,
allow or not
absolutely.
allow?
Absolutely. You saw here today what these guys have to do. There's a lot of business that has to get done here, that frankly, this is a waste of time.
Frankly-
Wasting a taxpayer, Douglas County representative, you are wasting the taxpayers of Jackson County's money for me and for these guys to address your completely vaporous.
I would challenge that I might have already been gone had you not decided to interrupt me and elaborate in this legal manner the way you
So-
have, and not answer the question.
We're done.
We're on.
Have a good day.
You too. See you on the web, chief.
Oh, I'm sure you will.
They slammed that gavel good.
Have a great day.
Now I see why I got a phone call about this place.
Is that viewpoint discrimination?
No, it's not.
How is it not?
Time limit. not only was his time limit up, but he was actively courting a problem with disrupting the meeting.
Oh, really? How so?
Because he was being abrasive and abusive.
And so that's disrupting the meeting? So
Yeah,
you
it
open
can
up,
be.
so part of the restrictions is that what you're gonna open up for people to come in and speak, but they can't be, what was it, abrasive and abusive? What was he doing exactly? As far as I can tell, he's just asking you guys this
Like I
question.
said, I'm not gonna litigate when you, see, what you guys.
There's no
like to do-
litigation, I'm just asking
Yeah,
you
it
a
is
question. I mean,
litigation
you
because
were
you guys
willing to
preface
do, you were willing to do
things
First
with facts and
Amendment, you were willing to do First Amendment 101, let's do First Amendment 201. Explain how that's not unequal protection.
Because it's not viewpoint discrimination.
So you just got done saying
Right, Justin, thank you for your
You
time.
just got
I
done
appreciate
saying
you
that he
being
was
here.
being a
Your
certain way
time
and you
is up.
stopped him for it.
Therefore, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Have a great day.
Thank you too.
You're welcome.
All right, have 10:30, so Mike, pick them up.
All right, since we've already clarified that we have 3 minutes, Christie, if you would let me know when 3 minutes is expired, I'd like to just have 3 minutes of uninterrupted government redress here. So last week, I came in here and received quite pushback, and now I'm being called abusive and what was the other word, antagonistic or something like that?
I believe it was abrasive.
Okay, again, 3 minutes of uninterrupted government redress, I'd appreciate it, please. But abrasive, aggressive, however those adjectives are, there's something called Cohen v. California. It's a landmark case from a number of years ago that says abrasive speech is free speech. And so if I was to come in here and say, fuck the commission, it's protected speech. Do we all agree? I think we can all agree there. So when I come in and I speak and I'm not being abrasive or aggressive and I get labeled as abrasive or aggressive, it makes me wonder what's going on in the commission room. The other thing that I've noticed is that we misconstrue the laws and the rules to support ourselves in the bad decisions that we're making. I got told that it was Constitution 101. But I'm afraid that this room does not understand content discrimination. Because when you open the meeting to a public comment, you don't have the right to silence that public comment because it's abrasive. Abusive you may be able to get away with, but you're going to need to have some fighting words or some actual true threats or things like that. That's what the law says. So if I was to come in here and make a direct threat to one of you that I was going to do something after the meeting, for example, that would be something that would be criminal and would be able to be shut down as not free speech. However, when I'm sitting here and I'm redressing commissioners who I've heard actions from in recordings and witnessed myself that they have a disrespect for the community that they're serving, that's disappointing. And Mr. Hoffman, you may not have opened the meeting to a public hearing, as Mr. Luckman likes to distinguish between the hearing and the meeting. But when you do allow comment, you're not able to restrict the content of that comment. And the fact that a gentleman has filed a cease and desist or any other legal paperwork, that's going to restrict private communications. Your attorney may be right on that, but that does not have a single bit of fucking impact on that individual's ability to come in here and redress his commission. It does not. Because if you're going to allow me to be on the agenda, you have to allow him.
Okay, now I'd like to make a comment, sir, if I may.
No, I'm done. Thanks.
Oh, thank you, I appreciate that. I do not appreciate your language.
I don't appreciate.
There's two ladies in the room, and I really do not appreciate it.
I don't appreciate
Sounds
your
like there's
content
more than two.
discrimination. You stop the content discrimination, I'll stop the language.
Your 3 minutes are up, sir, thank you.
Well, yeah, we were done a minute ago.
And I will apologize for him to the ladies in the room because I do not appreciate that language in here.
You don't need to apologize for me, sir.
Enough.
Tell him enough.
I was not addressing you, sir.
Not addressing you, so just stop.
continuing it though.
But
Okay.
you would take a look at your minutes.
Did.
We will approve those.